Hello, welcome back. Today we're doing suspension things on my Evo. We have this little kit that I've had lying around for a very long time. We've got two tie rod ends, we've got two new ball joints. The suspension on my Evo is pretty tired. A lot of the parts need replacing. So let's bang that on. To do that, we picked up this little kit here. Well, it's not little. This is a ball joint press kit. We should be able to use that to get the ball joints on. Obviously, we won't need this for the tie rod ends. At least I don't think we will. I've never done this before. Probably gonna be a bit of a challenge. But let's jack the car, pull the wheels off, and start undoing things. Alright, cousin, yeah, wheel is off. So what we are actually gonna be replacing in here is the tie rod end, which is from there onwards up into there. So we're gonna have to undo that bolt, undo that, pop that off. And then the other part, the ball joint, is actually down under there. At the end of the lower control arm. I don't know if I can get a decent. That's it there, which, yeah, there you go. There's the bottom of it, right there. I'm thinking we're just gonna have to disconnect the sway bar end link, which is that. Possibly take the caliper off, possibly take the hub off, possibly take this brake shield off, this dust shield. Then we can get to it, drop it out, and do what we gotta do. We got our sway bar end link out. That was a 14mm on there. I had to use the pliers to hold that while we undid it. To pull the caliper off, there's two 19mm, one at the top and one below it. They're both cracked now, so I can undo them and then pull this off. I might cable tie to that up there, so it's out of the way. Then we can check out our pads while we're here. I think they look cool, but I gotta investigate. Caliper is off and hanging. This is our purple one. Let's not even go there about that. This just seems like it's going to come straight off. Honestly, I kind of thought I had to undo something for this to come off. I gotta investigate whether that's meant to be loose. I'm not sure. I haven't done brakes before. I've never done this, so let me try and work out whether this is some more sus shit on this car or whether this is just standard. That's fine. Apparently that's all good. Let's pull this dust shield off. Looks like there's just a little 10mm or something sitting in there. Now we got all that off, we can kind of see what's going on a bit better. Like I said, we've got to replace that, which will just be undo that bolt, pop that out. And that's the other ball joint. So this is what we have to press in using that new kit that I got. So we're gonna undo that bolt, whoop, that bolt. Give that a bit of a tap, that should pop out. Give that, we give it a bit of a tap there, and then hopefully that'll pop out. Alright, they're both actually 17s, so let's see if we can get them out of there. That was easy, and I'm gonna need two hands to do this one because I'm gonna have to put a ring spanner on the other side. Alright, both bolts are out. This one's quite tight, but we got it with the impact. Now, I got my good friend. So basically I just smacked the shit out of this in here, took quite a bit, and then it literally just fell out. So now that's out, we can undo this and replace that. But before we do that, let's try and get this one out. I think it's getting pretty loose. We should just be able to. Seems to be bouncing up and in. Oh, we can't make it down any further because of that. We may have to undo this bolt here, holding it in, and then hopefully that will let it drop. And then if it drops, then we can try and change it in the car without having to pull it out. So what I'm actually thinking of doing, instead of trying to remove that bolt and then there being the chance of having to remove the whole lower control arm, which could be an issue because the oil filter, that black thing there, is quite close to that bolt. I don't know how we're going to go getting that out. Maybe we just undo the coilover and then lift the whole assembly up. I took these bolts out not that long ago, so that shouldn't be too difficult to do. And we'll see if we can lift this up to get that out properly, because we do have to get a big clamp around that thing. We need space. I'm just not sure whether this lifting this is going to give us enough space. Pulling the whole assembly out was a way better option. Now we can get to this quite clearly. I can move this around, so I should be able to get that whole C-clamp thing on top of this to press that out and press the new one in. We'll be able to change that pretty easy. We can just put this back up on there when we need. That was definitely the better option. So if you're doing it, pull assembly out. So that's going to be the hard one, I reckon, since we've got to press it in and out. I'm going to work out how to actually do it and how to use that kit thing, and then let's press that out. So first thing to do is to take the boot off this. There's like a circlip, but if you can find the gap, you can pop that in there, and then lever the boot off, kind of like, well, exactly like that. See you later. He's full of grease. Good. We do have this snap clip, circlip thing. I did pick up a little kit from SB Tools, so I'm going to use one of them to get that off, which I'm going to need 2 hands for. So you want to use that little part to spread the C-ring, snap ring, whatever it's called, and then just lever it off with a screwdriver. Let's pop that out and not get grease everywhere. This has to be pressed at the bottom. So now I've got this socket sitting, no, it's not quite big enough. Now it's covered in grease. We need something to sit on the rim of the ball joint that we can, and then press it down through. Alright, I was struggling to work it out because this socket's too long and then the C won't fit over it. It wasn't big enough. However, I found this little thingy in my little kit, which will sit down on there. I should be able to put that on there. This will go like that, and then we can send it. So let's do that. No, because then this will press that. We can't have that. So this is what I'm currently running, and I was just having a bit of a go and it seemed to have kind of popped. Now it's coming out. So that kind of worked. Finding the right mix of attachments is a challenge. Now it's coming. I just hope we don't bottom out because this attachment isn't deep enough. I don't even know you can see that. Hang on. Socket, little attachment, but I just don't, I think this is going to bottom out before we get the whole thing out, but I'm going to keep going and then see what happens. But it actually was quite tight and then it popped. Yeah, there you go, it's bottomed out now I reckon. So let's go back the other way, undo this thing, and then see what we can do from here. Took me a while to get something that might work, but hopefully this will do the trick. Ah, it's going, yes. It's getting easier. Ow. That was a learning curve. We now have no ball joint, because it's down here. So I have no idea whether these are the OEM ones. I'd say more than likely. Now it's out. That's pretty cool. Now we can work on pressing our new one in, which is hopefully going to be easier than getting that one out, because that was kind of tricky. Look how many attachments I have around here. Trying to work out how the hell to do it. We have our new Whiteline ball joint, pretty clean. So first step is remove the dust cover, so then we can press him up on in there. Just used a little screwdriver to pry the little clips off, and that'll come up. Alright, so then that is going to go up through here. Alright, that's where we're at for putting the ball joint back in. The ball joint is sitting in there. Pretty sure that's going to work. Let's start pressing and see what happens. It's at an angle, so I gotta try and straighten it up somehow. Whew. We got it pressed in. It was a pain. Looks all good to me. It started going in crooked. Didn't really matter what I did, but I just kept going, and obviously it centered itself. That's it there. Looking good. We have a little bag of circlips that need to get clipped under there and put our boot back on. Actually, let's put the boot on first and then the circlip, I would say. Didn't quite go far enough, gotta go a little bit more. Where the circlip actually encircles is just below that lip there. So up a little bit more, then I can get our circlip on. You can see now we actually have our little place to put our circlip, and there's a lip here. There's a lip just there that becomes flush with the bottom. So that's how it sits. Alright, after 10 minutes of messing around with it, we finally got the circlip on. Let's get the little dust boot back on. Let's get the little ring back on. Trying to break the damn boot. That would be kind of unfortunate. By the way, there's a little divot on the back of this thing just there. That's to point away from the disc, away from the rotor. So that way, towards the inside of the car. Alright, finally the new ball joint is in. Thank God, because that was not really that enjoyable, to be honest. Let's probably mount that back up on there, just so that's kind of out of the way, and then we can do that one. Alright, that is that. Sort of sitting back together. Now I can mess around with this thing. Alright, so I managed to crack this. This is now loose. I actually got a spanner and a shifter because the 22 fits in the spanner because the run team's not big enough, and I didn't have 20s or anything. So anyway, that's what we're doing. Put them on there, squeeze them together. That's now loose. I'm going to count the amount of times I turn this. Obviously I've backed that off a little bit, but if I count how many times I turn this, at least we should be pretty close. We'll probably have to check the alignment afterwards. Well, we definitely will, but so let's go. 1, 2, 9.5. My little texter. Cool. 1, 2. I think that was 9. If not, we're pretty close. I can adjust it quite easily anyway. Now we have a mad new tie rod end. Tie rod end, ball joint. Let's put this damn thing back together. I gotta get the other side done. It's already 2 o'clock and I gotta get this shit done, man. This is crazy. That took me a lot longer to do than I thought it would, but now I know how to do it. Hopefully the next one will be a lot quicker. Alright, that's in. That bolt's in. That's looking good, I think. I wouldn't know if it didn't because I don't know what I'm doing. That's on there. That's looking mint. Now let's put those 2 things back on and then that back on. Not sure whether I'm going to be able to put this on with the pads in. Okay, now I'm going to work out how to pull them out. Alright, the way you take Evo pads out is there's on the front of the caliper, there's a hole there and a hole there. Get a little screwdriver or something, tap that in. These rods will come out the back, we'll pull them out. They'll come out, this clip thing will come out, and then we should just be able to pull the pads out. We'll have to push the pistons back in, and then we should be able to try and work it on there. The caliper back on, pads back in, all that's back assembled. Should be fine. Put the wheel back on now and move to the other side. Looking good. Over to on the passenger side now. I'm just going to bang it out real quick and not film it because I can't really be bothered. But I've just noticed that this tie rod end's actually leaking. Ball joint, can't really see. Oh, it looks alright. But good thing we're doing it because that's not ideal. Alright, this side's completely finished. It's dark and you can't really see, but the new ball joint's in there. You can definitely see that tie rod end, that's done. Let's put the wheel back on. Then we need to check the alignment. I got grease on my face everywhere. It's unsurprising, my hands were black 2 minutes ago. That was a big day. That took me most of the day. The second side was definitely quicker. Alright, we've got the string line set up. Let's see how we did. And look, it's a bit off. Let's see if I can get that line down there. Ooh, yep, that's probably nearly 10 mil off there at the back. The back ones are fine, obviously, because I didn't touch them. Walk around the front here. Over here. Let's say we got about 5 mil on that one. So both need adjusting out. To be honest, I could see that on the driver's side, even just looking at it. Let's move the string, turn the car on, and wind it out a bit. Hook the wheels, and then I should be able to reach a little adjusty thing in there. Bang on now, let's do the other side. Alright, alignment's all done. Hopefully it's all good. It's a lot better now. I'm gonna drive it to work in the morning, see how the car feels, and I'll let you know. Alright, I've actually been driving the car for a few days now. Feels great. At first I couldn't really notice the difference, but particularly when you go around a roundabout quite quick, you can definitely feel the front of the car is a lot more settled than what it was. So definitely worth doing, big improvement. I think the ones I had in there were pretty short anyway. The grease looked horrible, so glad that was done. If you enjoyed, watch that video. Goodbye.